Thank you so much for having me. Oh, so what a week it has been. I actually moved to Atlanta, Georgia from Los Angeles about 10 years ago, where I was privileged to spend about 7 years in Los Angeles and have a lot of friends and a wonderful community. So my has been in Los Angeles all week. Um, and it has been also in Israel for, more than a year. And this week, so much has been alive and so many emotions have been raw, right? So there's a fire in Los Angeles. There is an unusual freeze here in Atlanta where main water lines are bursting all over the city because we're not used to this kind of uh, freezing weather. Um, and of course, we're all holding our breath and have been holding our breath for over a year, waiting anxiously for the end of war and for the return of our hostages and praying for a return to some normalcy for our people, for our community, for all people. I was reminded as I was holding so much emotion, so much raw emotion at one time. And I was asking, how much can we possibly hold at one time, right? So many different things. I was reminded of a study that I did with my dear friend, Cantor Kara Spencer Shapiro, who's going to be teaching you tomorrow. The two of us did a Havrita study of Sefer Yetzirah, one of the older Kabbalistic texts that really delves deeply into the Aleph Bet, into the power and beauty of the Hebrew alphabet. And this beautiful book talks about three mother letters of the Hebrew alphabet. And they are the Aleph, the Mem, and the Shin. They are the beginning of the Hebrew alphabet, the middle of the Hebrew alphabet, and the second to last letter of the Hebrew alphabet. So almost, the beginning, the middle, and the end, encompassing almost all of the Hebrew alphabet. And they're elemental in nature. The Aleph is connected to air and breath. The Mem is connected to water. And you can hear the M sound. Mime is the word for water in Hebrew. And Aish, the Shin sound, is for fire. So here we are, we're dealing with fire, we're dealing with water here in Atlanta, and perhaps holding breath, bated breath. We're waiting to hear more news, more information about our people in Israel. How do we hold all of this together? I came across a beautiful midrash having to do with revelation at Sinai, and I would like us to use it for our meditation today. This midrash is about when God speaks the 10 utterances to the people at Sinai. And the text tells us, it says, God spoke all these words, saying, and then gives the 10 commandments. And the Midrash asks, why would the text say God spoke all these words, saying, wouldn't it just be enough to say God spoke words, these words? Wouldn't it be enough to say God spoke these words? Why does the text give us a redundance, all these words? And the Midrash gives us this beautiful image that God has the ability of saying all utterances at the same time simultaneously, as if God transcends time and language and is able to give all of these words at the same time simultaneously, unlike human beings who could only say one word, one syllable, one letter at a time. And the image that is given in this midrash, it's as if God sits atop a sundial, transcending time and space. We're not able to do that. We are temporal beings. We can only be in one moment at a time. We can only occupy presence one breath at a time, one letter at a time, one sound at a time, while God can be present in all place, at all time, occupying all presence as if sitting atop a sundial. And so I invite you to listen with the depth of presence using the three letters, the three mother letters of the Shin, the Mem, and the Aleph, which actually, when put together, give us the Shema sound. Very soothing sounds, the very sounds that mothers and fathers often use when speaking to distressed children. The sh, the the sounds, and offer these sounds to yourself one at a time as you soothe yourself, as you become present and perhaps embody that timeless presence into being, as if we can glimpse timeless presence, as if we can pretend to be sitting atop of a sundial, just for this moment of stillness, just for this moment of meditation, just for this time outside of time. Because perhaps if we can bring some harmony to ourselves, some peace to ourselves, then we can also bring it into the world. So I invite you to place your feet on the ground beneath you. The privilege of this time when the earth isn't moving beneath your feet. The privilege of this moment of safety. Take this time outside of time. And I love that this meditation was dedicated to a child, because I would like to invite you to this meditation with a childlike curiosity, because children know what it's like to come onto a playground as if time does not matter. I invite you to close your eyes if that feels comfortable and at ease. Bring your posture into a dignified openness, opening the shoulders, resting your hands into a posture of receptivity. Allowing yourself to smile, even amidst everything that is going on, bearing witness to everything that arises, coming into loving, compassionate presence. Yes, we are temporary beings, and yet we can bear witness to all as it arises. Mm, uh, Shema, listen. Shema, listen with kindness, with open receptivity. With a compassionate heart. Bearing witness to all. Being present in the now. Breathing in, breathing out. The body breathes on its own, thousands of breaths each day. The heart pumps thousands of times each day without our control. Resting into being, resting into the now. Trusting into timelessness. Even if you only catch a glimpse of timelessness, it is here, available in the now. Rest in it. Rest in awareness, in its loving kindness. In the Aish, in the Mime, in the Avir, in all three elements coming into harmony. Even if only in the now. We'll sit in silence and stillness for the next few minutes. Rest. Each time the mind wanders, you can return to your breath, perhaps saying out loud, Shema, or even concentrating on one sound over another. Maybe it's the in the belly or the sh in the mouth or the ah in the heartscape. Each time the mind narrows, you can open up into spacious awareness where you notice constriction offers softening. Invite the body to soften and open. Invite the mind to open wider. Whatever arises, bearing witness to it all. Spacious, loving awareness. And when you're ready, I invite you to gather your awareness back into the body, feeling your feet, the four corners of your feet on the ground, maybe wiggling your toes, wiggling your fingers, rolling out your wrists, rolling out your ankles, bringing a little movement to the body. And before you open your eyes, maybe touching your face, just bringing some awareness of the body and the physical nature of being in the body, being an embodied being. And as you open your eyes, I invite you to look at the quality of light around you before you rest your eyes on anything in particular. As you bring your awareness into our shared space together, and before we say Kaddish together, I want to share a story I read yesterday by Rabbi Nachman of Breslov, who was asked, how can we love God more? And he said, we love God more by loving God's letters. We love each letter of the Torah as if each letter is a human being. And by loving each letter, we imagine that each letter is a human being. And so we love human beings as if they are a letter of the Torah. And so the more we love human beings, the more we show love to human beings, we love God more. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marita, as always. Friends, let's seal that beautiful practice. Those of you who are in mourning, observing a yard site, or if it's your custom to recite the Kaddish, you're invited to do so. If you're not, we hope you'll stay present for those who are. Thanks to Harry for sharing the words on the screen. If you'd like to put the name or names of anyone you're honoring in particular today, you're welcome to do so in the chat now or after you recite Kaddish. And if you're doing so, please join me by rising in body or in spirit, and you can unmute at this time. Yitkadal,
Yitkadash, Shmei Rabbah,
Amad,
Yamad
Dibrat,
Yibrak,
Yehudi,
Yerushalayim,
Malchut, Hayeton, B'Yom, Uchaye, B'Chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala,
Agala
B'Zman,
Bisman,
B'Ri,
Karim,
V'Yamru,
Vimru, Amen.
Amen.
Shmei
Rabba, Mevarach, Olam, Amen,
Lamai
Amen.
Almayim.
Yisharach,
Barach,
Yisparach,
Yishabach,
Yishabach,
Yitkar,
Yitzhar,
Yirvan,
Yisei,
Yitkadar,
Yitadar, Yitaled, Yitalal, Shemit,
Shmei, Rifu,
Le'ela
Shmani,
mikol
Mikol
birchatav
Bechirata,
v'shirata
Bechirata,
u'shmachata
Shkata,
v'nechemata
Menechemata,
v'hamiran
Da'imim,
ba'almat.
Amen.
Hey Shlama Rabba
Rabban,
Maya v'chaim
Chaim
alu
Aleinu
v'chol
V'Yachol
Yisrael
Yisrael,
v'yamru amen.
Amen.
V'aseh shalom b'mimra
Bimrama,
v'yaseh
Yas
shalom
Shalom,
aleinu v'yal Yisrael
Yachol Yisrael,
kol
V'Yokei
Yisrael.
Yosei Tevel, V'Yamru, Amen.
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 Nice.
Friends, thanks so much for joining us today. If you're leaving us now, hope you'll join us tomorrow. As Marita mentioned, we'll be led to sit into Shabbat by Cantor Carrot Spencer Shapiro of Wilshire Boulevard Temple in Los Angeles. She'll be joining us from Los Angeles, and grateful to have this opportunity to connect with Cantor Carrot, especially these days. And so please join us tomorrow if you can. And I'll put in the chat our lineup of teachers for next week. Just a note that we will not be meeting live on Monday as IJS is closed in observance of Martin Luther King Day, but we will be here Tuesday through Friday. And you see the lineup of our teachers Tuesday through Friday, Rabbi Mira Nicolescu on Tuesday, Rabbi Shir Yerafite on Wednesday, Zach Newman of Hamakom on Thursday, and next Friday, Rabbi Marcelo Bronstein will join us from Costa Rica to lead us into Shabbat together. So we hope to join us any or all of those times. And as always, you're invited to share. I see there's a request for the source sheet again. Harry, if you don't mind putting that in, I want to thank Harry Goboa for holding our space. I want to thank Cantor Jan Mahler for sponsoring today's practice on the joyful occasion of the birthday of granddaughter Celeste. Thanks so much again, Jan. And if you have a question you'd like to ask Marita, please put it in the chat and preface it by writing question all in caps. I will keep an eye out for that. And if you'd like to just share reflections on what came up for you or your experience with the practice, please do so as well. The chat's open and always rich and wonderful to witness how everyone has been affected by the practice. Marita, thanks as always. Couple of things I wanted to revisit or I guess underline or first of all, just in a time when many of us, maybe all of us, are so activated / triggered / I don't know, fill in the blank, activated. That use of the sounds or meditating on those letters and the associated sounds, Aleph, Mem, and Shin, I found myself really rotating through those. And I could feel this, I could really feel it viscerally. And curious whether others had the experience too of whatever order it would be in of shh. Wow. Very, very soothing, really helpful. So I just want to thank you for that. There isn't a question there, but I see others are resonating with that as well. So, you're a chaplain and you also, you work in hospitals and with people who are under a lot of stress. I just wonder, is that something that you employ in your chaplaincy? Would you say is that I imagine, I don't know. For me, if I were undergoing a procedure or coming out of procedure, I would find that very, very helpful. Thank you.
I have not used it in my chaplaincy work, to be completely honest. I have used it in my teaching, in chanting, in sort of, um, I teach Jewish meditation and oftentimes focus on like resilience building
Mm-hmm.
with people. And the sound of your own voice and the
Mm-hmm.
vibrational like energy that one can create through voice in one's body can actually be very soothing.
Mm-hmm.
I will often instruct people that like even if you can't tap into that, like you can place your fingers on your forehead as you are creating the
Mm-hmm.
sound, and it could actually help you tap into it because it like it allows you to feel the vibration a little bit more. You can place your hand on your belly or on your chest, and you feel the vibration of your own, the sound of your own voice in the body as
Mm-hmm.
you're making the sound. Um, and I know that we've all lost our sort of childlike playfulness, and it could be a little awkward. But I have found it to be deeply, deeply healing. When I say healing, with a light touch, like
Yeah.
it's soothing. I guess maybe
Right.
that's what it is. It's soothing.
Right.
That if I'm overly activated or if I'm under a lot of stress, if I can hum to myself and I can tap into that vibration,
Mm-hmm.
um, I've even done it with my daughter where we hum to each other. We actually put our foreheads together and we hum to each other, like in a playful manner.
Hmm.
And it's fun. It's fun and you feel the energy, right? Like you feel each other's energy. And actually it settles your nervous system. I don't have the science behind it. And I actually put in the source sheet the work of Victoria Hanna, who's a musician in Jerusalem, and she does a lot. She is really a master when it comes to sound and the healing power of sound as it relates to the Hebrew language and the Hebrew alphabet. So if anyone is interested in really delving deeper into that, I highly recommend the work of Victoria Hanna, and she has a lot of resources on YouTube.
That's really helpful. So I guess I do want to like steer that in a direction of spirituality, on Jewish spirituality, because I'm thinking when you just use the word vibration and energy, and each of these things is conjuring up a different kind of vibration. But all what they have in common, for me, in that experience is uh, and so what it brings up for me is the understanding of the divine in Jewish mysticism as chayut, or sometimes it's chiyut, which is life force, life energy. One of us doesn't have to think about God as, in an anthropomorphic way, but in a mystical sense as kind of the energy of the universe, right? That we, at least that's how we experience it, and we tap into it so that it's more than soothing. Actually, it's actually an awareness of being immersed in a field of vibration. Like the vibrations are there. We're just like bringing those vibrations to the surface or to our awareness. At least that's how I'm thinking about it, which leads to the other, the midrash that you brought in about God speaking everything at once, whereas we have to break it down. We can only hear one thing at a time. It's interesting. Like when we say Kaddish and there's that cacophony of sound, sometimes it's soothing, sometimes it's irritating for people. I think it's complicated, but the basic teaching that Midrash is that God's in all of it and able to hold it all. So I wanted what it brought up for me was thinking about how do you translate that into mindfulness terms? And I'm thinking about our friend Sam Finesmith, who sometimes will teach about, and others who will teach about resting in the infinite field of awareness, right?
Right.
That can hold everything. And so when we're sitting in the midst of, today's drama, and there'll be more drama tomorrow, every day's got its own drama, but there's drama and we're in it. We're in this moment. Some of it is about recognizing that there's a dimension which is beyond this moment, which holds it all. And that is, that's soothing in a different way, at least for me. So I wonder what you think about that. Like, how would you translate that midrash? I don't know if I don't want to put you on the spot, but if it
No,
is,
I want, yeah,
yeah.
I think it's really important. I think for me, I have a fight and flight or fight or flight response, right? So I sometimes, if I get really, really overwhelmed, I just want to go to sleep. And
Mhm,
it's really important for me to stay awake. Like I have family in Israel. I provide a lot of therapeutic care for my grandmother who's almost 90 years old. And every night she's woken by sirens and she lives in an apartment by herself. And so my daily responsibility is to stay present to my beloved grandmother who is in a daily trauma response.
mhm,
I also have friends and dear ones in Los Angeles, and my daily responsibility is to stay present and alive, like not asleep for their needs.
mhm.
I also like tonight I have a dance recital for my 12-year-old daughter, and tomorrow I have to make Shabbat. And right, like life doesn't stop because there are multiple crises going on at the same time.
Right.
So what do I do? How do I practice with it all? Is I have to be able to tap into some way of holding it all.
Mhm.
right? So if I'm able to tap into the possibility of like imagining that I'm sitting on top of a sundial and I can just hold space for all of these things and not fall asleep and not collapse and not, just say, forget it, I'm done. I'm out. If I could stay present in my meditation, then I can take a glimpse of that possibility and take it into my life and say, you know what? I'm going to stay in it. I'm going to
Yeah.
stay in it. I'm going to stay present. I'm going to stay present for this, and I'm going to stay present for that. And I'm going to stay present for all of it because I have developed a practice of staying in and not checking out. Because how much easier would it be to just check out? It's too much. It
Right.
is too much.
Thanks for sharing all of that. And, blessings for your grandmother and for your family in LA, friends there.
Yeah,
But I think that's a great encapsulation and a very practical, bit of wisdom, I think, for why are we here? Why are we doing this? Just to remember that we're not just here to kind of, catch our breath and then get back into it. That really won't work. Right. But what you're saying is extremely helpful and I think clear that and for me the kind of the cue is when I think it's too much, I can't handle it, it's just too much, just that thought, oh, this is too much.
yeah.
And that's a cue to go to exactly what you're describing of having this sense of there is I'm part of something that is so much bigger than this of this moment, and that can create enough spaciousness to be able to say like I'm staying in it, like the way you're describing,
And I
and
also
which is not easy, by the way, as you will say,
I would also
not
say
easy.
I'm in love with the mystery. That's also part of it. I know I'm not in charge.
Right.
I'm in love with the mystery, like that mysterious, beautiful language of, the Aleph Mem Shin, like it's, the Aleph to Tet, like that encompasses it all, and it's got some, some. I don't want to use the word magic, but it's got some potency in it, and you can activate the potency. And if you can bring that potency into harmony, then you're actually aligning with the divine, and the divine, like as below so above, and
Yeah.
you can activate some divine presence in this world. I'm in love with that, and I don't feel like I'm alone. And if I can activate that in my practice, then I can bring it into my life.
Beautiful. Thank you for reminding us why we're here,
Yeah.
and we're at time. So I just want to thank you again, Marita. As always a gift to have this time and opportunity to learn from you and sit with you and practice with you. So thanks as always.
Thank you so much. Be well.
And thanks to Harry for holding our space, James sponsoring today, and each of you for being here. Please join us tomorrow. Sit into Shabbat with Care with Spencer Shapiro, everyone. Okay. Be safe and well, everyone. Many
May we have
blessings.
good news this week.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.